Don't ask me no questions. The money went to Puerto Plata. That's all I know. It went to Puerto Plata and they figured it out. So you're gonna hear some gems maybe, some information, some updates, maybe a story or two. You might learn something if you stay tuned, but if you blink, you might miss something. So go ahead, hit that thumbs up now. ¿Qué la que hay, mi gente? Rico.toro. Yeah. Go ahead. And hit that thumbs up. Hit that like. So, I think this is like take 3 or something, trying to get this video out there. Thought I had myself a little cute camera girl. Talked, dropped some gems maybe for like 20 minutes. And then realized we weren't recording at all. That's that sort of YouTuber stuff that, you guys as the general viewing public audience don't really understand. That's where it actually is work. When you don't get it right the first time, or you're not even recording, but you put out some good info, good content. That's the work part. Just sharing, TMI Santiago just kind of said the same thing to me. He'd be somewhere, have all the thoughts in his head, and next thing he knows, an hour later, decides to go on camera and forget some things or leave some things out that he should have said, or thoughts that he had in his head when he was initially thinking of the idea. Same thing. So shout out to Chubby Chatter, aka TMI Santiago. So, who, by the way, he's actually working on, in October, he's doing a birthday party for himself. And, he's had a few ideas of venues, places, nothing too crazy, nothing too big, but his day, his way, his thing. So, one thing, I think he's stepped outside his box a little bit and been navigating more into some of the Dominican establishments. So, shout out Mama Juana Cafe. Shout out Ramona's. Shout out everybody. Shout out Kathy from her bar, Kathy's Place. So they do watch me. The community likes me. So do you. Hit that subscribe if you're brand new for those real life experiences, personal observations. So anyways, this weekend, Friday it rained a little bit. Some things going on in town this weekend, maybe some events, birthday parties, etc. Some friends and some people. Some events I made it. Sometimes some events I went by, but the guest of honor stepped out. Or whatever. Things didn't coincide well for me necessarily with everyone. You can't be everywhere at the same time, always. So just a little updates. The casino disco, it's been open, but they're charging like 500 pesos to enter. Envy has reopened to the public, and they're charging 500 many days, maybe even 1,000 on the weekends. That may vary by the time you come down. So just a little update there, and actually a friend of mine from the Virginia Beach area that, I met through through a coworker before and some mutual friends. He was here back in 2015, 2016 for his rookie trip, his early trips. A few times when I was coming down, just visiting for a couple days at a time. I coordinate trips with a couple guys in this group, the old Victoria House days, some of you may remember. So the brother, he's here now, and there's a couple guys I keep in touch with from those days, and we were connecting on some trips, and then COVID hit. Just life happens, but I'm glad he's here because this is his first time he's the best reference for those guys that were here back when everything was open, sort of as we knew it. Classicos, Roomba, just everything was open without restrictions, so he can tell those guys really, make these or those adjustments or whatever. And this will probably be a good way for you to come enjoy your trip. Whereas I'm probably borderline to say, I don't know, the way you guys like to move, I might be tempted to say find another destination. That's what I'd be tempted to tell some guys. But he could tell from a more tourist perspective that has seen for the first time some of the recent events after previous years when he was here during better times. He could tell them more so how it affected him or how he thinks it will affect them. So anyways, good thing there. So, some real interesting conversations to me that I've had lately, with little bit trying to keep this thing in horizontal filming, so bear with me. Production's not my A game. Gems and content and information is. We can't always be on point all the time with production, but also dropping solid gems and information. Many of those production guys aren't dropping much, but just production. But shout out to them. They're doing their thing. Some of them very successful, more successful in their lane than I. So no disrespect, just an understanding of the differences, styles that we all have. So, I'm walking into a conversation the other day, couple long-term, couple short-term tours at the table. And these guys are like being real open and honest and raw, pun intended, with their conversation. And one of the guys is saying basically that he likes to gamble. He really don't like to use protection. Protect yourself at all the times. He just can't finish that way. All the standard reasons, excuses, aka whatever. So drinking too much, pills, all the stuff that basically, bad combination sometimes. So, he don't mind throwing a little something extra for it, his way. He don't mind, he don't have no regulars because, he may not have no regulars because he don't come down frequently enough. They don't make those connections. But we'll say, he said like 70% of the time, 70-30, he's trying to hit it raw. Unprotected, natural. Oof. And I was like, bro, if it's been offered up just for extra propina or not even with that, they're just, they're not shutting you down when you offer it that way, or they're not saying anything at all. They're just like, climbing on it, with no questions asked that way. And, you should be concerned, you should basically, when you get that COVID test on the way out, you're already in the lab. You should go ahead and get the full diagnostic, the full gamut of the other health checks, if you know what I mean. Personally speaking, I've had the full gamut done 2-3 times since living here. Once or twice, I was already getting like cholesterol, vitamin D, liver enzymes, all the regular health stuff that I'm supposed to get due to my family history anyways. So I'm like, while I'm here, why not have them fill up an extra vial of blood and, check all my other important factors. And thankfully, we're clear. So, I don't advise, I do a lot of bro science my own way. I'm just real talk. I have my 2-3 regulars that took me a long time to get them a certain way, or to them to come at me a certain way. And not to say it's not an exact science, but maybe it's a false insecurity. But I think it's a little better risk management than what those dudes at that table were talking about. You know, they're talking like, you know, ODB. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Okay, that's a really bad impersonation, but you get it. So, point is, if it's too easy, it's not a good risk, is what I believe. That's my belief. Not exact science. Then I think that also ties in, and I actually had a little PSA with one of my off and on regulars. Had to tell her, like, we know our situation. But, you know, and she kind of confirmed that, yeah, some dudes, she's, you know, I don't know, I'm not there with her, but she concerned that some dudes will be real quick to, like, try to negotiate those sort of, you know, non-safe details into things, and, you know, she shuts them down, just like things took a while for us, perhaps. And, you know, some girls, she said, they're just so thirsty for whatever, they will, you know, do whatever. And, you know, which is not a good look. Not a good look at all, by any means. So, enough on that, you know. Simp Nation inflation. Shout out to Mike G. Expat and Cabaret met recently. And, you know, we connect a few times a week, share some philosophies or whatever. And he come up with that phrase to me, Simp Nation. And, you know, this ties into like the pricing that some of you guys may be experiencing, fees, rates, etc. You know, buying fruits and vegetables and bird watching, etc. And Simp Nation, inflation is the part I tie into it. So, you know, he says one day, he asked me what I think or what I would do, because his regular, he's got two main regulars that he deals with. And, you know, they're either talking about they're going to start needing more from him, or they try to squeeze for extra 500 to 1,000 pesos for the time or whatever. And when he told me that, I said, bro, you do realize you're talking to someone that, you know, has two regulars. One that has, I think I found her replacement. One hasn't been. Two regulars that are on the bench and blocked right now for the same reason. So maybe I'm not the best person to ask because I just shut it down. But that is just the state of affairs, though. Like, whether it be newbies, veterans of the game sometimes, you know, with the regulars, you know, inflation. Everybody's trying to squeeze a little something more. And it's not just like it's not just like a get the gringo kind of game, which is what some guys think it always is. They're doing that to each other. You know, every day, Dominicans, Haitians, they're hustling each other every day, you know, because, you know, food, gas, electricity, water, babies, milk, diapers, everything is going up. So don't feel like it's just you. And, you know, so, you know, I'm glad that the money made Puerto Plata, though, as I said before, you know. So, several months back, you know, I'd said in a different video that a friend of mine, when I was visiting Puerto Plata, a friend of mine that coincidentally I found out was also visiting Puerto Plata and knew that I had company coming from Puerto Plata, asked me, does she have an amiga in Santiago? And she said, no, but I can make a call or two, maybe bring one from Puerto Plata. So she sends me the picture. This was my young lady that was pregnant at the time. Sends me a picture. And I said, this one's cute. I'm going to save this picture just to have on file. And long story short, he never connected with the friend. So, you know, I knew I would keep that, you know. And So I'm in Puerto Plata a couple of weeks ago, and it's late night. I'm drunk, and I asked the pregnant one. She was days away from having a baby. I just reach out to her, hola, buena noche. She responds right away, so I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I'm like, you mind doing me a favor? Could you talk to this friend, see if she wants to come get to know me? So she's like, sure. Before I knew it, she was texting me. Go downstairs, she's out front. So I was like, okay, boom, boom, bang, bang, hello, stay the night. Anyways, so, and then fast forward a few days, weeks, see her once or twice. The pregnant girl has the baby. Congratulations. Felicitaciones para tu nuevo, ya, Dios bendiga. I'm not Catholic, but I do that. Okay, excuse me. It's just habitual at this point. So she hits me up the other day, like, baby needs milk and Pampers. And I said, can't help you today. And then I say, I'm going to try something. I'm going to see your friend the next day, which was yesterday. And I'm going to ask her to share something that I give her with you. And she said, okay, gracias. So yesterday I see the friend, and, I asked her, did you talk to your other friend Zoo? And she said, yes, talk to her every day. I said, okay, I don't know if I like that. You're probably talking about me now. But, okay, so you're supposed to share what I'm helping you with. So, yeah. So we have fun, good evening, good pool day. And, I put down on the table what I'm helping with. And the thing I love about this girl, she's brand new, but she never counts. She trusts, puts it away, and goes. You don't count the money at the table, right? And that's why one is blocked right now. Even though I've known her 2 years, she's the only one that counts while she's in the apartment. And it annoys the hell out of me. That's why she's blocked. So moving right along. This one is like, glad to do it. So she goes. And there's an example of real friends in the game. Girls that are friends in the game. Like, some say they're sisters, but they're really not. They're really amigas. Well, in this case, it's like they say they're amigas, but they're more like sisterly, than anything. They almost look similar. It's weird. So, she goes to Puerto Plata. A little while later, other one says, gracias, or something. Or she hits me up and says, I told her to keep everything. And she said, because she has kids. And she says, no, you keep everything because you have a new son and a daughter. I like this, them looking out for each other in that sense. Besides the typical, cliche happy hour, one, Chica A trying to help Chica B also get paid, But this was like sincerely them trying to help each other. And at the end of the day, at some point after the back and forth, I was like, I don't really care. The money made it to Puerto Plata. I'm happy. Made it to Puerto Plata. Y'all figured out from there. But I think she just scraped her off like 500 pesos and was glad to do it. And the other one was happy that took care of the need at the time. It's not always what you think. Like, often what you think requires 2,000 peso or 1,000 peso donation for milk or bread or something. Often, really, they're more than happy to just scrape 500 off the top, and I sent the girl home. I sent the girl with the same donation that I would have sent her with anyways. So I didn't send extra and say, give her that. She was just glad to share something, or even try to give her all. So that's a thing, The thing about it is like, most of the time when you meet them in Sosua and they act like they're tight, they're close, they just met on Caribe tour bus on the way here. Or they just met at Rumba or in a Chica hotel or something. They're not all that tight. you know, because I asked one when I was giving a PSA, I say, is there some chica chat groups? Y'all got some chatty patty groups, some Facebook groups? Are y'all unionizing? All the BS that a lot of dudes are talking about, like the girls must be doing to establish something or whatever. And, you know, ties in, and, you know, she's like, pretty much, unless they're homies from like the same neighborhood and knew each other before this game or whatever, many ways it's every chica for themselves. Every chica for themselves. They're not really trying to look out for their earnings for others or set precedents or help the next girl out the same kind of way we're out to try to help the next bro out. You know, so something to think about. You know, it's a grimy business, you know that. So hit that thumbs up. You appreciate that knowledge. Subscribe to Rico.toro. Stay blessed. Stay well.